I'm honored to be joined by Allison Feaster and her daughter, Sarah Strong. This is a unique opportunity to speak to both of you. And I want to start with NIL, which is a topic that we have talked before about on the CNBC Sport videocasts. And if you follow my newsletter, I've certainly written about it. But what a great opportunity, I think, to dive into it a little bit with you, Sarah, and you, Allison, as Sarah's mom. And I'm curious, I want to talk about it in the different stages of NIL. So, Sarah, you were one of the top high school recruits in the country, Player of the Year, coming in as a recruit. Can you talk to me sort of about the specifics, not just from the recruitment standpoint, but really focusing in on the NIL standpoint about what that was like as you were determining which college you wanted to go to?
I really wasn't focused on NIL throughout my recruitment process. I was just thinking about playing basketball. I'm not really focused on that too much.
Did you have an agent?
In high school, I did.
You did, yeah. So at what point did you get the agent?
I think it was junior or senior year.
Yeah.
Towards the end, yeah.
Towards the end of junior year.
Towards the end of senior year.
Towards the end of senior year.
Yeah, towards the end of senior year. Yeah, I'll just, echo what she said. Absolutely zero factor in her decision-making process in choosing UConn. I think, if you know much about us as parents and Sarah as a student, as an athlete, that was the zero focus was on that. We've always been of the opinion that if the basketball, prowess, if the basketball accolades are there, the talent, the skill level, and some minimum baseline marketability, that you would have access to, amazing NIL opportunities. But you choose UConn for the opportunity to win a title.
And then did that change at all from when you actually joined UConn? And maybe it didn't even change for you, but I'm curious to hear, you must talk to your teammates a lot. How prevalent is the transfer portal and the NIL association with it once you actually start playing college ball?
It's a really big part of it. I feel like some players only go to certain schools just for NIL money, but none of my teammates really focus on that either.
Do you feel like the lack of focus on it is something that's individual based? In other words, it happens to be that you were in a collection of people that kind of were like-minded like yourself, or is it something that the UConn program actively kind of speaks to say, hey, we know this is in the back of your mind maybe, but don't focus on this?
I'll say both. That's what UConn does. We're not really focused on that type of stuff, but also surrounding myself with people that, agree with what I think and kind of push me to make those type of decisions.
Towards the end of the tournament, you run into fans and they'd say, Sarah's great, congratulations. We hope she comes back, next year. And that concept for us is like the most foreign concept. And no disrespect to, student athletes, parents who make decisions that are right for their families and for their, child and student athlete, but, just never, crossed our minds to have that.
Well, do you think it's healthy for the sport?
I think it's healthy for the sport to have that athletes have opportunity to leverage their name, image, and likeness for financial security, if that's what your NIL demands. Absolutely. I think it's a little bit of an equity situation at play here. For years, student athletes have been doing amazing things for colleges and universities, and at this moment in time, I think it's important to kind of share that spotlight.
You watched the recruitment process, obviously, of your daughter. How did that differ from your own process when you chose to go to Harvard?
Night and day. I was nowhere near the top recruit in high school, and I made my decision strictly on. It was strictly an academic, decision. My NIL was, hey, let's go to the best college university you possibly can to get a job after school.
Harvard doesn't even give athletic scholarships.
No,
yeah.
But it's an investment. It's an investment in the future. I think, in turn for, the student athletes of today, they're getting that NIL for an investment in the future. So it's there's similarities, but definitely way different.
When you say you're sort of, it didn't factor into your decision at all, how aware, I mean, you must be somewhat aware of it though, like you're going to know the opportunities that are presented to you, right? Is that something where, again, your agent is the one that's taking front and center on that, or is it more you yourself that are interested in, okay, what are the opportunities available to me?
I always knew about NIL and all that type of stuff, but I just didn't want to get distracted. So I kind of let my agents and just other people handle it for me.
Parents, yeah. With opportunities that come, now she's not fielding she's not fielding these potential opportunities herself. Her agency, Lindsay Kagawa Colas and Wasserman take care of that, which is, you get the best in the business for, someone of her potential. So zero focus on that right now.
I want to talk about the season a little bit. Obviously, UConn won the national championship. I watched the Final Four. You guys were so dominant. Can you explain to me what happened through the progression of the season? Because watching those end games, I could not believe you lost 3 games during the season. How did that team coalesce to get that dominant by year end?
I just feel like every day in practice, we always focus on doing the little things. And I feel like we did a really good job of showing that during March and doing what other teams don't really do.
Do you feel like, because obviously you have the number 1 player in the WNBA draft was your teammate, Paige Beckers. There will be a time where you will get to that point and we'll have to start to think about, okay, do I want to declare for the WNBA draft or do I want to stay another year in college? Again, that's where I would think NIL might play into that decision. We've seen it with other players who have made the decision not to declare themselves for the WNBA draft and stick around in college, in part because they're making millions of dollars in college and you'd only be making a maximum of $250,000 in the WNBA. Have you started to think about that calculus yet?
I mean, not really. I just finished my freshman year. I'm just really focused on my sophomore. I haven't really thought that far yet.
I mean, again, you can speak to this too, Allison. Does something need to change there, though, that the incentive structure seems to be out of whack?
Thankfully, I don't have to make that decision. I think, the college sports and professional sports are both progressing at a rapid rate in terms of NIL. I think the WNBA right now is going through a collective bargaining negotiation. And at some point, there will be a convergence towards, some balance in it all. But I'm so happy that women have the opportunity to even have that type of decision before them, that you can make life-changing money, while you're in school, or you can go play pro in a league that is just quite frankly exploding right now. That to me is just the ultimate thing to weigh.
Sarah, assess your game, looking back this season. Where do you feel like you succeeded and where do you feel like you can still get better?
I said I was a good teammate. I was there for my team, for my teammates, did whatever they needed me to do. And I feel like I can improve on my leadership skills for next year and for upcoming years.
On the defensive end, is that something that kind of came within, or was that something where, Gino pushed it on you?
Definitely all the coaches. I feel like I was struggling at first on the defensive end. Just had to get more comfortable with it, just working at it at practice.
Talk about your relationship with Paige Beckers and what you learned from her.
We have a really good relationship. I look up to her. She's a really great leader. It's just like the way she carries herself with such a good confidence on the court and off the court. So just learning that confidence is really important.
I'm assuming, because you mentioned earlier that the next step you could take also is being more of a leader. Would you define her as the leader of the team?
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
And how did she show that leadership? Vocally?
I'll say in all ways. Vocally, pulling you aside, telling you what you should have done or what you have to do, or being able to take constructive criticism and just being there to talk to everyone.
Let's talk about the Celtics a little bit. There's a new owner, Bill Chisholm. Have you gotten a chance to meet him? Is he around now?
Yeah, he's been to a couple of games. and has spent time with our business operation downtown during an all-hands meeting, and he even came by our practice facility in Brighton at the Auerbach Center, and each of our groups had an opportunity to present so that he gets a chance to understand, how we do things, to help him get acclimated as much as, introduce ourselves to him. And he's very excited. He's a Massachusetts native, former athlete at Dartmouth. So he's really excited about coming into an organization and repping. It's like his home team.
What's been his message?
His message has been he's here to learn and enjoy these early stages of the process. And hopefully we get a title, in his first year. We're right in the thick of things right now.
Can you describe your job within the organization?
Yeah, my title is Vice President of Team Operations and Organizational Growth, but I really like to think of myself first and foremost as a culture warrior. I work closely with Brad Stevens, with Joe Mazzulla, and have a lot of crossover between business and basketball, just helping Brad and other leaders in basketball run things on a micro level. So it's
like what? Like specifically, what would that mean?
For example, I'm responsible for our team operations group. We are responsible for the travel and equipment. We're responsible for player services. I work closely with a colleague of mine in organizational growth. We manage the season launch, the end of year playoff launch as well. All things culture, all things people in basketball. So
how has the culture changed, would you say, since you joined the team? Because I heard as part of your efforts were also sort of trying to institute certain mental health benefits that had not been at the team before,
yeah, so
right?
thankfully the league, the NBA, is prioritizing, even before athletes started to really speak out about the importance of mental health and how mental health translate directly to your performance on the court. Like, you have to be a whole human being to really be at your best on the court. And so Brad really took that to heart and helped us chart out a path to hire our first ever director of mind, health, and wellness for our team. And I get to work closely. Obviously, this person reports to me, but we all work very collaboratively to best serve our players.
And is that something where you take your own playing experience and sort of like,
Oh, without a doubt. One of the best things about being a former player and a former teammate is you have played just about every role you can possibly imagine on the team. And you can really put yourselves in the shoes of the guys. I've never made $1 million in a contract, but I've been, a role player and haven't touched the court in a season. I've led the team in scoring in a season. I've had life happen to me, deaths, divorce, et cetera, et cetera. So, I can relate to a lot of things.
What are your career aspirations within sort of the basketball universe?
I'm really enjoying this tremendous ride. I never dreamed I would be an NBA champion and be able to share that experience, and let alone work for an organization like the Celtics. I aspire to continue learning in my current role and adding value. I love what I do, but we'll see what next steps are and when those happen. But hopefully it's
first
very
female
close.
General manager. Is that a goal?
I'd love to. In my wildest dreams, if I ever had the opportunity to run a team and hire a very knowledgeable, savvy general manager, that would really rock.
Yeah. Have you gotten a chance to interact with the team, Sarah, through the years?
A little bit, not like crazy, but if like we're walking by, just say hello, or I know the families more.
What do you guys think of the state of women's professional basketball these days? Because now we have multiple leagues, and there seems to be a huge amount of energy that we have not seen before. But we don't exactly know what the result of that energy will be yet. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on where you think things are headed.
I just think it's gonna keep growing. I'm just excited to see like all the attention, all the support that the WNBA and just like women's basketball has right now. So excited.
Is unrivaled something that you're also thinking about in the back of your mind?
I don't know. I mean, it just looks fun, so probably. I mean, it'll be a dream to play for that, but I mean, yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah, that's a opportunity. It's again to even be able to weigh playing in 2 leagues domestically and not have to go abroad. Although we loved our time abroad. Sarah was born abroad while I was, playing, and I just am just in awe of where the league is going. Teams in Portland, team in Toronto, now the Valkyries in the Bay Area. It's just a tremendous space to be in, and it's a tremendous space to aspire to if you're
Why is there no
Sarah.
team in Boston?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I do know there are rumblings and groups forming to see if we can make that happen. But wouldn't it be an awesome thing? The Connecticut Sun played a game there last year. They're going to play again this year versus the Indiana Fever, which will no doubt be a sellout. So hopefully those seeds are being planted.
Yeah. Well, maybe Bill Chisholm can be a part of that.
Hey, I need to plant that bug in his ear.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Last question for you guys. As you think about UConn moving forward to next season, this one's for Sarah. Obviously, you lose Paige Beckers, but you still have such a strong core. Do you feel like your team, as currently set up, not even thinking about the freshmen who are coming in, is in a great position to repeat as champions?
I mean, I would say so. If we do just keep working hard, I mean, I feel like anything's possible. I mean, yeah, we all want it really bad. So, I mean, I feel like we're just going to work hard and try to do that.
And for you, Allison, too, is as you watch Sarah sort of go through this process, do you feel like the infrastructure around her, between having a teammate like Paige Beckers moving on, being the #1 pick, your own experience with the professional club, agents, that you look at this and you say, like, I can't believe how far sort of the women's basketball infrastructure has come.
Yeah, no doubt. We're super fortunate to even have had, watched her alongside Paige, who is definitely going to be one of the all-time greats in women's basketball. But they're very well deserving. Like, women have put in the work for many, many, many years and paved the way for this generation now. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited about where it's going and for her and all the women coming after her.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Appreciate this.